I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Monday, January 26th. Beginning in British Columbia, where the OneBC political party attempted to hold a rally at UBC last week. But as Tina House reports, some counter-demonstrators had other ideas.
Members of OneBC were scheduled to hold a rally outside of the Indian Residential School History and Dialogue Center, but were met with an angry crowd instead.
Say it loud, say it clear, students do not want you here.
We managed to get through the crowd to ask Frances Widdowson, who's a member of OneBC, a few questions.
Frances, what brings you here to UBC today?
I'm here to restore UBC to an academic institution, which it is not right now. It is a propaganda outlet for indigenization activists.
So you're saying all those residential school survivors are lying?
No, I'm not. I don't think residential school survivors are lying. I think they're misremembering.
The crowd then surrounded Widdowson, and one woman holding her child seemingly used the fact that she was holding a child to protect Widdowson from the anti-protesters who were demanding that OneBC and their supporters leave. David Robinson was here with his mom to stand against racism.
Children should never be used as a tool to defend the hatred. You know, children are beautiful. That's why we're here today, actually, is to celebrate and to remember the children that never got that chance to be held and to be protected.
This is my father. He went by Buddy.
For Rosalind Hannah Miles, her dad went to residential school. She says that the hate that the OneBC party is spreading is racist and needs to stop.
He went to St. George's and he was harmed, like all the other people there who did their best to try to survive. But a lot of our people did not survive. I've heard many stories where people were killed. Where I'm from, there are, sadly to say, burial sites.
If your parents do die, you can't bury them in your backyard.
OneBC party leader Dallas Brody.
You're not allowed to do that in Canada.
And what do you say?
They're going to get pushy.
Our interview was then cut short because an angry mob surrounded her. Members of the OneBC party, including Dallas Brody and Frances Widdowson, were escorted off of campus. Except in Frances Widdowson's case, RCMP physically carried her out and put her into a police cruiser. UBC RCMP have confirmed she is in custody, but no other information was given about what she is charged with. Over 1,000 people have gathered to say that denying residential school ever happened is racism and is not acceptable. Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
Returning to Greenland, where everyday lives carry on despite Donald Trump's apparent retreat from threats of taking the territory by force. But as Angel Moore reports, no one there takes what he might do or might not do next for granted.
Greenlanders have returned to some normalcy as U.S. President Donald Trump has retreated his threat to annex the territory using military force. This market that sells fresh fish and seals was business as usual. However, there is still a large media and political presence. Earlier, media surrounded the house of Greenland's prime minister. Inside, Jan Fredrik Nielsen hosted Denmark's prime minister, Mette Frederiksen. After their meeting, they visited a fish market. But over at the United States consulate, people continue to gather. Aviak Brunt is one of them. Brunt waves the Greenlandic flag in protest. She's been there every day this week.
Showing the world that he will treat Indigenous people like a thing. We are people and we're not for sale and not part of us or for sale, not anything like that.
Not wanting to be colonized once again.
Sarah Olsey is the international chair of the Inuit Circumpolar Council. She weighed in on recent events.
We've already been colonized and we are already working very hard to establish a more equal partnership with the state that colonized the people of this land.
Greenlanders I spoke to said they will always protect their sovereignty. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Nuuk, Greenland.
Honoring the life of Dan David, the father of APTN. I'm Sierra Buttons, host of APTN News in Focus, and this week we're looking at David's life and legacy. Listen now on your favorite player.
A First Nation in northern Manitoba is on a mission to protect lake sturgeon, a species they say is at great risk of extinction. Known as the Namao campaign, it points a finger of blame squarely at Manitoba Hydro. T.R. Wheatley explains.
Stuck with a number at the tail end of the sturgeon.
With less than 2,100 lake sturgeon tagged on the lower Churchill River in northern Manitoba, knowledge keeper Robert Spence says they are at risk of becoming extinct within the next decade or two. Spence blames the Churchill River diversion for killing the sturgeon. The CDR is a massive hydroelectric generating station built in 1976.
About 1.4 million square kilometers of watersheds that flows past our community. But the Churchill River gets less than 1%.
That community is a Tatasqueyak Cree Nation. Chief Doreen Spence says they've had enough.
Manitoba Hydro always manipulating water level flows and everything, and basically they're manipulating our lives too.
In 2018, Tatasqueyak commissioned environmental consultants to study the river over numerous years, producing 3 reports in late 2025. The first one found the sturgeon only occupy 18 kilometers of the 450-kilometer river. The second tracked their movements, while the third produced the impacts of the Churchill River diversion.
Animals, landscapes, burial sites, all of these things.
Taylor Galvin is an Indigenous sciences scholar who's helping TCN in their fight to hold Manitoba Hydro accountable. In order to do that, she's helping TCN start a campaign geared at educating the public.
Like, this is the biggest issue in Manitoba right now, is that there's so much lack of education on how Manitoba Hydro impacts First Nations people.
The campaign, called Save the Namao, will see signs across the province on billboards, buses, public spaces leading up to September when the diversion license expires. Tatasqueyak's goal, get the public on board to pressure Manitoba Hydro to work with them on future negotiations, to listen to the people living on the land, and to save the sturgeon.
Give us more water. Release more water down the lower Churchill River.
Spence says the water release needs to be done in spring and fall gradually to align with the river's natural flow.
We're not going to just sit back idle and wait.
And if Manitoba Hydro doesn't comply, Tatasqueyak's chief is prepared to turn this into a legal battle.
Like, if we have to go to court, then we will.
Meanwhile, Manitoba Hydro says they are reviewing the reports and they look forward to ongoing discussions with Tatasqueyak. A spokesperson says since 2018, Manitoba Hydro has provided the community with $1.5 million to help with the research, adding the diversion has always been compliant with the license. T.R. Wheatley, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
And finally, a pair of violent incidents at Saskatchewan hospitals have authorities taking steps they believe will prevent further harms in healthcare settings. Rachel May reports.
The first incident I want to speak to is an incident that happened in December at Prince Albert Victoria Hospital, where a patient was removed from the facility.
Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell is talking about a man who was removed from Prince Albert's Victoria Hospital on December 11th and later found face down in a snowbank. The security staff involved were banned from working in SHA facilities. The other incident was fatal. Trevor Dubois died after an altercation with security on January 9th at Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon.
I reiterated my commitment to meet with the Dubois family when we have more information so that we can have a fulsome discussion.
The SHA said Dubois had meth, drug paraphernalia, and an imitation handgun, which his family says was a cigarette lighter. Details on how Dubois died and what caused the incident in the first place have not been released.
All I'm asking for is some answers.
At a January 12th press conference, Dubois' family said they want action.
And changes. Like, we need to help our people. This can't be happening.
Today I'm announcing that the government of Saskatchewan is ordering an independent review of hospital safety and security across the province. Everyone who walks through the doors of a Saskatchewan healthcare facility deserves to feel safe.
Cockrell says the government is bringing in outside experts to review SHA safety practices.
Weapons have no place in a healthcare facility. There should never be a weapon that comes into our hospitals. So one weapon coming into our facility would be too many.
The review is expected to improve safety while maintaining culturally safe environments. SHA CEO Andrew Will announced the use of another tactic, metal detectors in urban hospital emergency rooms. 51 special security officers will be hired to operate the metal detectors. Will says that they will receive training in de-escalation and how to be sensitive to the cultures of Indigenous people.
Culturally responsive care, trauma-informed care that helps them, understand, the patients that we're caring for and what their unique needs may be.
Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Monday, January 26th. I'm Rick Harp.